Migrants and refugees are often spoken about, but rarely asked. Could that be a sum of a book lost in media in some way?
Yes, thank you for having me on. So that is a summary of the book, that migrants are talked about, they're never asked for their views, their voices are always missing in the media coverage. When they appear in the media coverage, it's often very negative, and this has real consequences for societies across Europe. And this book, a collection of essays by writers, artists and journalists, tries to deal with these issues.
Authors in Lost in Media publication are from all around the globe. They are from different contexts, different stories. They are from Balkans, they are from Africa. What is common for all of them?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think all of them are dealing in some way with stories of people moving. They're dealing with stories of identity, stories of belonging, of telling stories of trauma.
And when it comes to problems, when it comes to fitting into new societies, for example, and dealing with problems with education, with employment, with feeling of alienation, how common are those problems wherever you come from?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. It's an important one. And I think people experience those problems of alienation. When you come to a new country, just imagine, whether you're a migrant, let's imagine you're a young person in their 20s who's left Belgrade and who's gone to Germany to work. You may not speak German, or if you spoke German, it may not be quite the standard you need to get a job. You may have studied something here, but it doesn't translate into German system. So whether you're that person or you're a refugee coming from Somalia who ends up in the UK, who's fled violence, we all have to start again. And migrants and refugees often are at the bottom of the society. They are marginalised, and they're marginalised from those in power, from the media, and they tend to then physically end up in places, in countries which are already have already got problems. So in the UK, a lot of refugees and migrants arrived, particularly refugees like my family come from Somalia in the 90s as refugees, and we were left in a neighbourhood of London which already had a lot of problems. So there you have to establish yourself, you have to learn a new language, you have to get a job, and then you deal with discrimination and also the trauma of this experience and the trauma of where you come from. All of that creates a situation where you're alienated. How long are you meant to be in the UK for before somebody stops asking where you're from? Because this is an interesting question. How long do you have to stay somewhere before you stop being an immigrant?